What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Happy Sunday evening, and I hope each of you are well and blessed. So glad you took the time out of your busy schedules to take some time to meet us here for another exciting episode of Village Chat. It's been a great season, and I know tonight is going to be no different. Very unique and very different, and I know you guys are going to be in for a treat. I know there are many types of people who are here with us on this evening. We've got many individuals who are participants in our village actively. We've got individuals who've graduated and been a part of our village. And we have individuals who maybe will be future participants. Well, it doesn't matter if you were the first, the second, or the third. We're glad that you're here. And I'm glad to see your face up in the place. If by chance you've stumbled across this airing in this episode and you don't know who I am, what the village is, who we are, I'm Dr. Joe, author and founder of the world's greatest transformational process, the 40-day turnup, the Journey 3.0 plus process, where we help people to transform holistically, mind, body, and spirit. We don't believe and accept that you can compartmentalize change. You can't just physically change without addressing the spirit, emotions, and your mentality. And we've been in this space for about 10 years now, and actually 11 years, going on 12. And we're glad that we are here. This year long, we would have worked with almost 10,000 people, taking two different 40-day turn-up classes, the beginning of the year, first quarter, and now this is the final one and one summer Journey 3.0 plus process. When we look at all of our participants, people around the world, probably in about 15 different countries, the UK, Africa, South America, the Caribbean, the Middle East, Japan, Saudi Arabia, the UK, Ireland, you name it. And we have a villager who's either in this village there or has come through this amazing process. So wherever you are in the world, we salute you. Village Chat is a great platform because it's the opportunity for us to present active participants, coaches, sometimes they're leaders, sometimes they're super leaders, but people who are actively a part of our process, and we present them to the world to hear their stories, because what connects us all are basically our stories, regardless of race, regardless of socioeconomic status, where you are, your geographical location. The human story is a special one that all of us seem to connect with, because when you meet people, all people want the same thing. People want to be safe, people want to have enough, and people want a better life for their children than they've had for themselves. When you meet people all over the world, you'll find that all people have those qualities. Well, on today, we've got a special episode because we call it Village Chat Couples Edition, because for the first time this season, we are having a couple, a husband and a wife, who are here with us. So I want to present to you all our friends, Mr. and Mrs. Abraham and Charmagne Mustapha. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing very good.
Salute.
Good
Salute. Well,
evening.
thank you for accepting to
Hi.
be our guest. We're so glad to have you. Now, a lot of people don't know you are very far from where I am. Tell us where you are right now.
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Now,
Yeah, we're actually in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria.
Abuja.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So for those who may not know or may be geographically challenged, what part of Africa does Nigeria rest?
Okay, Nigeria is located in West Africa.
Okay.
It's boundaried by Cameroon, Republic of Benin, to the east and west. Then to the north, you have Niger and Mali.
Oh,
Then
wow.
to the south is the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow. Well, our first Nigerian guest, welcome to the Mustafas. Thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm excited about our conversation. So, I know Abraham, you're from Nigeria. Charmaine, tell us where you're from, and then Abraham, we'll go to you.
Absolutely. I'm from a small little city called Parchment, Michigan. It is a suburb of Kalamazoo, and I left in 1988, and with the exception of going to see my mother and father, who is now deceased, I have traveled the globe. I also have my home residence outside of Nigeria in Atlanta, Georgia, or a suburb of Atlanta, Lawrenceville.
Okay, so you're just worldwide, Charmaine. Coach Charmaine, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. All right, Abraham, tell us about you. Where were you born?
Okay, I'm born and raised in Nigeria. I'm from a little village that is called Ajawa in Ondo State. That state is in the southwestern part of Nigeria that is populated by the Yorubas. So I'm a Yoruba man from Nigeria, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so glad you all are here. So tell us, we're dying to know. You got to tell us how you guys met. We all want to know. We're dying to know. So tell me how you guys met. Let's go ahead and spill the tea because inquiring minds want to know.
Take it away.
Yeah, it's just by divine connection. That is how I call it because, as a matter of fact, we were just, just like that on social media, on a particular social media that is basically devoted to African people. And when I saw Charmaine there, I was surprised because I was not expecting. And when I saw her biography, I was really worried. I wanted to know why is this biography because an American person not ready to talk to no white man. If you're a white man, please, I respectfully would not want to have any discussion. So I wanted to just know more, because in Africa we don't know too much. We don't know much about these African American color people and all those labels that are all over the place. So, and that's where we took it up. And it didn't. It just hit. The fire just kept growing and growing. And
It didn't hurt either that I knew a little bit of Yoruba.
yeah, that is one of the. That's one of the.
They say when you can speak a man or a woman's language, you speak to the heart.
Yes.
And I bet that meant a lot to you, Abraham, that Charmaine was able to speak your native language. Now, Charmaine, you got to tell us, how were you able? When did you learn Yoruba? Tell us about that.
1981, I attended Western Michigan University, and I was part of the International Society. 80% of that club were Nigerians, and they just became our family. I'm one of 9, and my mother fed them, and little by little, they taught me their language. And I was always intrigued. I grew up reading National Geographic. So for me, I just wanted to know what they knew. And little by little, it came to be. Now, prior to Abraham, I had been previously married. He was Yoruba. And I refused to be married and not know a man's language. And as such, I learned by living in Nigeria in early 80s and by having a husband prior to Abraham. I was married for 8 years in that relationship.
Wow. That must mean a lot to you. That's That's great. Now, so when you all when did you move to Africa to actually live in Nigeria, and how was the transition for you?
That's a great question. I've actually lived in Nigeria on three separate occasions. Early 80s, when I was in my young 20s, some years ago, and again in the early 90s. Not only Nigeria, I've traveled the continent in many different countries by myself. And then again, last 4 or 5 years, we decided to live here, build a brand new home. And for me, it just worked. When I first came here, it was during COVID, January of that year. My expectation was to return home March, and they closed 2 days before my flight. They closed the airspace because of COVID-19. And I stayed to August. And what I found is I breathe better, I live better, I move better, I ate better. I started a ministry here. Just God was working with me, and He continuously spoke to me, and we discussed it among ourselves. And I decided to spend more time in Nigeria than in the United States.
Wow, that is fascinating. How has your I hear an echo. Let me see. Oh, there we go. How have you felt? So Abraham, let's talk a little bit about you. What type of work are you in? Were you in? What do you do there in Nigeria? And Charmagne, I want you to answer the same question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I currently, and for the past 10 years, I've been in project management, managing international aid for Canada government in Nigeria, I'm leading a team that that helps Canada in its development agenda in Nigeria. I have been doing that for the past 10 years. Before then, I was in the private sector. I ran companies in the oil and gas, providing services for major oil and gas companies. So that's what I do, and I'm enjoying it.
Okay. And Charmagne, what about you?
I retired, wow, 11, 12 years ago. And I just do ministry. Everything I do is from a voluntary capacity. My career was a human resources director for 2 international corporations. Both of those corporations were Indian owned and ran, alternative fuel. Prior to that, I was a corporate paralegal. And when I say that, a lot of people say, well, what is that? I actually had the privilege of running not one, but 2 law firms for the managing partners. And I would train attorneys how to practice law. Having spent 7.5 years at the State University of New York, Buffalo, I learned not only practical, but theoretical law. And when I came into, in the 80s, the paralegals knew more than the graduating attorneys. And so we trained them how to practice law. And I'm the paralegal that you saw on the international flights going to do all the discovery in other countries.
Wow. You all are just a power couple. Look at you. So Charmagne, how do you feel being born African American? How do you feel that the Nigerian people and culture has received you to kind of put us Americans or those who may not be where you are in the mind of what was that like?
Absolutely. The way they embrace you here is unlike anything I've ever experienced anywhere in my life. I only wish they would receive the exact same reception from us and the Americans. or in the Americas, from the village level. And when I say village level, Dr. Joe, I'm talking going back 200 years where there's no running water, there's no electricity, it's dark, and the people commune in one village. The reception is nothing but love from the inner city, from the very elite to the lowest class. Everything is love. They pour love on you. They greet you. They greet you as if you are their brother or sister, and that's the way they love you and embrace you. I couldn't ask for a better reception from a people.
That's wonderful. Beautiful. Well, Lynette and I want to travel we want to visit. Nigeria is on our list. So if we're traveling there, what city should we go to? Where should we stay? So educate us, because I'm certain that there's so many people saying, hey, I want to go there. I would love to travel. Where would you recommend us visiting?
Abuja.
Okay.
And if you and your wife come to Abuja and you do not allow us to host you,
Oh no,
we're gonna have a problem.
Okay. hey, I'm penciling it down now. You got a deal.
Okay.
We're going to visit our friends there in Nigeria. I would love to go there and visit. So we're going to do that. So that's awesome. So let's transition to the 40-day turnup. Now, you all have a unique story. Charmagne, you are a coach, and
Yes.
I believe you went through the process first, and then talk to us about that, and then talk to us, Abraham, about how you came along. So, Charmagne, we'll start with you, and then we'll go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. In October of 2021, one day before my 60th birthday, 7.5 years of being diagnosed as pre-diabetic, taking metformin, statin, and Trulicity, I made a decision to go through the process. I had already seen the results of what that looked like from a fellow church member. Abraham was coming back from Nigeria to the States. I didn't tell him anything. I just prepared everything so that we could move forward. Dr. Joe, when I tell you for 7.5 years of my life, I walked every day. I was already drinking a gallon of water plus every single day. And I had not one but 3 different nutritionalists. I was eating bread. I was eating oatmeal. Everything that I now have learned was killing me, and I eliminated. That is what I was doing. I was in total compliance. So fast forward, went through the 40-day turnup, took Abraham right alongside me. He actually reached his BMI during my 40-day turnup.
My man, Abraham.
And he's not giving back his trophies. He is in a state of just awesomeness. Everything is Dr. Joe. And then, of course, watching us, others in Nigeria want to become healthy as well. To make a long story short, Dr. Joe, I know that you probably have heard this, but the people have not. 7.5 years of following my primary care physician's instructions to the letter, I could not reduce my A1C. 40 days with Dr. Joe in the 40-day turnup. 2 weeks before our graduation, I had my blood draws. My A1C was better than it had ever been in my entire life. My doctor took me off of metformin. She took me off of Trulicity. She sent me to a cardiologist because I refused to come off the statins. And he, and he said, you know what? You're okay. No problem. Wow. That is my story. And I have been with you ever since, because the spiritual component of it, yes, is what touches the heart of me. I know that God was in the midst. I know that He is over everything that you do. And as a result of that, we see progress in everything that we touch, not just in our weight loss, but in our physical activity, in our ministry. Everything has been multiplied as a result of feeling better.
Well, to God be the glory. What a beautiful, beautiful testimony. Well, Abraham, so you went through unofficially with your wife. So, Abraham, tell us about how, I think this is your first official time. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. So,
you're right.
Tell us about.
Well, thank you, Dr. Joe. I just want to thank you for what you're doing. I mean, it's wonderful. And I want to thank your coaches, your leaders, and the leadership, generally your wife. I mean, because when I see how my wife does this job, I mean, I'm so amused because it takes all in her, night and day. Anyway, to go back to the story of how I told my wife that wherever he goes, she goes, I go. Whatever she does, I do. When I came in 2021 October, and she said, I don't know anything about it. She said they want to do something, they want to do detoxing. I said, okay. I mean, you want to get better? I mean, I'll support you. My intention was just to support her, in what she wanted to do. I was getting overweight anyway. I was getting overweight, and I was not liking my special. I was not being happy about myself again too. But I didn't know it's something so profound like that. I thought it's just a woman wants to do something. I just want to help you. But when we did detox, and the detox week, I lost 7 pounds. I said, no, I mean, this is, I mean, we have to, and I'll have to return to Nigeria. I think the second week after. So I returned to Nigeria. I continued the thing here, and we're almost together. We're always together every day. I mean, many hours every day when we are not together, either in Atlanta or in Abuja. So we continue like that, and I mean, to God be the glory, and to the effort He put in for me, because she knows how to do it. So she will say, don't do this, don't do this, do that. And I followed it diligently. And I lost 39 pounds in the process, and I got below my BMI, and I mean, and since 2021, I said, no, there's no way. If it comes, I continue, I mean, continue all the requirements, the 400 calories, 4 meals a day, and all the rest of them, your water system, the measuring, and so on. So I keep doing that. Sometimes, as humans, we cheat, and when I cheat today and I feel that I have taken in another 3 pounds or 4 pounds, I make sure I do a lot of exercise too. Just my wife knows that I do a lot of exercise, so I return to my base and I correct whatever needs to be corrected. And I have been I've been maintaining my BMI. I've not gone beyond. I've not gone outside of it. And in addition, when this diet was going to start, this cohort was going to start, and she mentioned it to me, I said, yeah, it's time for me to get involved too, because I would really want to be registered in the system. And today, I'm having a coach since 2021. I had only one coach, one super coach, one leader, one ambassador in her. But now today, I have. I want to shout out to my amiable coach, Coach Anissa Jones, my leader, Lucian Lilia. And I have two amazing men who are my, we are three in our subgroup, three men, because my group is one of the best groups because we are mixed. We have men and women. And I have two buddies in Richard and Kevin. Everybody have been very helpful. It's like a family, and we are doing fantastic.
Oh, that's
thank you.
What a beautiful story, and it's amazing because I remember in previous sessions your picture, and you were much bigger. And then when I see your picture now, I'm like, this looks like Samuel L. Jackson. This actor, this debonair, handsome man. I said, look at him, looking like he's 18 again. That is awesome. What a great story. Well, thank you all for sharing that with us. So Charmagne, you're a coach.
Yes.
Talk to us about how it's been leading your group. Shout them out. Let's start with you. You can shout them out, say whatever you want to say, and then we can get into how it's been in the capacity of a coach.
Absolutely. Shout out to Trinity, the ladies of TUMBS, TUMBS, and our leader, Shantaine, who is right there in the trenches every single day. Our super leader, can't forget her, Kelly Dean, and our ambassador, none other than Angie Bingham. Woo-hoo!
Salute.
Great group of ladies. Coaching is a gift from God. Being able to serve other people is an opportunity to do exactly what the Word of God calls us to do. Let all we do be done in love. What better way to do that than help people recover their health? I have had the pleasure of coaching international groups, American groups, and all of the ladies that I've had the pleasure of working with thus far have been successful in graduating from the 40-day turnup, and most of them moved forward in the journey. About 7 of the ladies I've worked with thus far, Dr. Joe, are leaders and or coaches now in the process.
Wow, that is amazing.
Now there have been some hiccups though, because as you know,
I know
I've had some challenges.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You're right about that. Leadership, especially in the capacity of the turnup, it is its own calling. It's not for everybody. Everybody can't do it. And that's nothing against anyone who can't, but it just more so shows how special it is when you are in that capacity. And it's a great form of self-accountability when you're leading others, because like I say, you guys keep me in check. I know I can't, live my life any kind of way when people are looking to me for guidance. How would it be if I'm living antithetically to what I'm teaching? So we want to salute to you for being a great coach.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, Dr. Joe, because there's one component, one piece of this that I want to make mention of, please.
Please.
Not this particular group, although I'm coaching in a lot of pain. As you know, I broke my ankle in 3 places and I'm in recovery. But what I found was in the last group that I was a coach, I was out running and walking with crutches because I find that if you lead by example, they will follow.
Yes.
And that's the one component of it that I'm very proud of, that the good Lord gave me the wherewithal to say, you know what, push through this and make it happen. I yo-yo back and forth because I did. I went into a miniature depression when I broke my ankle because I was swimming, running, walking, riding a bike every single day, and I found myself not being able to do anything. Thanks to you, Dr. Joe, you've talked me out of that thing. You made us accountable. You said, okay, coaches, take back your life. This is not just about the participants,
Right.
bring yourselves back to a place, a state of health, or walk alongside each of those individuals. And I kept hearing you in my head. And I said, what can I do? And little by little by little, and you help accelerate my recovery. My orthopedic surgeon will tell you thank you as well.
Praise God. That is great. What a beautiful story. That's awesome. Now, a lot of people, when they go through the process, we've got a lot of people of different ethnic backgrounds, a lot of people who live in different parts of the world, a lot of people who have different cultural approaches to foods, that are hundreds, thousands of years old. Nigeria being so steeped in culture and history, how has it been, Abraham, and Charmagne, you can speak to the coach, Charmagne, you can speak to this as well. How has it been taking the tenets of the 40-day turnup to incorporate it in your cultural foods to where you can still get results? Can you talk to that?
Oh my God, you couldn't ask to be in a better location. One of the young ladies that I coached and who became a leader was the 40-day turnup biggest loser in her group pod. Here, she lives in Nigeria.
Wow.
Because you have fresh fruit and vegetables. There's nothing is processed. You have fresh poultry. You have fresh fish. Everything goes from farm to table.
Wow.
So there's less trouble. I lose weight here rapidly without even trying, because it's fresh.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of the work out of it.
Abraham, when you come to the U.S., do you notice a difference in your system when you're eating the foods here, being that it's so much more processed? Can you talk to us about what your experience is when you come to America?
Yeah, yes, I know that what my experience is that there are not enough varieties about the things I'm familiar with. For instance, we have very many vegetables here that we've not been able to really locate conveniently in Atlanta. For instance, leaves like ugu, which is a very powerful vegetable. Spinach, yes, it's available, but there are several other vegetables that we have here that are so nutritious that we cannot be able to find in Atlanta. So there's actually a difference. My wife is a veteran about food, so she tries to, and she knows that I will feel those gaps. So she tried to make sure I don't feel any gap really. But we know that there are things that she can find easily in Nigeria, in Abuja here, that she cannot find in and which are very, very nutritious. And I also want to mention, Dr. Joe, that there are some challenges for some of us who are participating in the 40-day turnup. Things like the multivitamins, for instance, it's difficult to find them here. Okay. Even if you want to get them from Amazon, it will be times 10 of the price, and it becomes unaffordable. So affordability now is one of the challenges of Africans too. You know that we are developing region of the world, and we are limited by resources. But again, when these things, I'm a student of sustainable development, and the issues of unequal development around the globe is really manifest every day in our lives. Whereby you find that people can afford many things, and when our brothers and sisters in Europe and America wants to send things to us, by the time it gets here, multiplied by 5, multiplied by 6, it becomes unaffordable. Wow. So some of the challenges, but when it comes to to basic agricultural products, we have a lot of varieties.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like the rich soil of Nigeria produces foods that we can't duplicate here in the States, which is, I definitely understand that. And to your point, Coach Charmagne, you know, it's like a great place to incorporate this living because the way we're eating in 40 turnup is more primitive than these current processed times. It's more like our grandparents who lived on farms, who lived in nature, who lived off the land. And that kind of ethos is very similar to what you can have access to in Nigeria, which is great. But the thing about it is the food in Nigeria is probably so much more micronutrient dense. You probably don't even need vitamins.
Yes.
you know, the vegetables and the fruits that come from the land. So that's great. Now, talk to us. I want to ask you just a couple of questions before we let you go. But what are some of the health concerns of Nigerians there? I would love for you all to educate us. You know, here in the West, you know, we have bad issues with diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome. What are, if any, issues that our Nigerian brothers and sisters are experiencing there?
Let me address that, and then you follow up. Abraham used to get sick about every 4 months, and he would say, "Oh, I've got malaria." I was like, "But that's not how malaria works." And you know, after a little research and you Google, you realize you're not even in a region for malaria.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I said, and this is long before your process, take me to where you're eating at when I'm not here. And what I found was because of hygiene, a lot of the people suffer from food poisoning. And there's a lot of deaths as a result of misdiagnosis or lack of medical or money to seek medical treatment. So that's what I found.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. The issue of malaria and typhoid fever is very common here, and is a big market too. You know, and I mean, mine is a typical example. You know, by stopping going to those eateries, by cooking my food at home, I don't get sick again. I've not been sick since 2021. I mean, just so to say, I've not been sick since 2021, and it's just because I changed my lifestyle.
Yeah.
With the help of my wife. So it's Nigeria is a lot of education. I mean, like the 40-day turnup could be very good tool to change the attitude of people, because eating balanced diet could be another challenge. People can eat carbohydrate morning, afternoon, evening. You know, a lot of people, that is how they eat. You know, so they are not aware of the need for variety, and all these things affect people's health, you know, eventually.
Wow. Well, the important thing is that you all are able to take what you've learned, apply it where you are, and get results, and recapture your health. And that's what's important. So this is just great. You all have been a great, beautiful couple. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Everybody in the chat group, I think you all are y'all are their heroes. So they're all shouting you guys out. They're loving what they're saying. And I can't wait to visit, for Lynette and I to visit Nigeria. And I promise you, when we come there, I'm going to be certain you all know, so you all can show us that beautiful country. I've heard so many amazing things about Nigeria, that there's so many Nigerians who live here in Atlanta. And I said that it's definitely on my list, and we're going to be, and I know now we've got 2 people there who can show us around. So I'm gonna hold.
You will love it. You will love it.
Okay. Well, Abraham and Coach Charmagne, thank you so much for being our special guest. Love you guys. And I know I think it's almost, are you all 5 hours ahead? Is it like 10:30 there? 10:30?
That's correct.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So we're going to let you guys go so you can get some Z's in on tonight. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for being my special guest.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Coach Charmagne and Abraham Mustapha. Great guest. What a great interview. Great set of people. What an amazing, amazing interview, gang. And I know you guys enjoyed it. I can tell in the chat group, just based upon what you all are saying. Oh, wow. This is what a great, great time we've had together. Now, gang, I want you all to give me I want you guys to give me your attention because I want to inform you all of something before I let you go. Give me about 10 minutes and I'll let you go. An interesting article was released that came across my desk. And I want you all to see this. All right. This article says, you can see where I've gotten this from, bbc.com. It says, excess deaths in 2022 among worst in 50 years. When they say excess deaths, it's a certain type of way. It says more than 650,000 deaths were registered in the United Kingdom 2022, 9% more than 2019. This represents one of the largest excess death levels outside the pandemic in 50 years. Though far below peak pandemic levels, it has prompted questions about why people are still dying more than normal. Data indicates pandemic effects on health and NHS pressures are among the leading explanations. Now, the reason why this is an interesting news story is because not only is the United Kingdom noticing excess deaths, but when deaths within demographical pericopes are studied, they are seeing increased levels of deaths around the world, highly and mostly with young people who die for seemingly no reason. People who otherwise should be healthy, happy, thriving, they're seeing an increase of deaths. We're seeing an increase of aggressive cancers. We're seeing an increase of different type of acute diseases. And it really is causing people to wonder what is causing this. Now, these statistics they're seeing recently. And you got to ask yourself the question, what has happened in the world recently within the past 3 years that could be connected to this global increase of excess deaths around the world? Some people say it's COVID, not the deaths from COVID, because the deaths from COVID, when they happened, were more so older people, as well as people who had comorbidities. But we're talking about since COVID has ended. A lot of people are saying that the increased deaths is connected to long COVID. All right. That's one explanation. But the other explanation is this. What about other measures? And you know, you got to talk in code that people have exposed themselves to, that we've been told, hey, you need this to protect yourself from COVID. And I think all of you are smart enough to know what I'm talking about. Am I saying it's long COVID? No. Am I saying it's the second option that I just gave? I'm not saying either one. But you cannot help but to wonder, what is it that's going on in the world that's causing young people to die suddenly? Young people who had no pre-existing conditions to die suddenly. And these are statistics and analysts that any person watching this can access. Now, regardless of if you got it or if you didn't, you can't help but to wonder, what are some of the ramifications of this? And the reason why you have to wonder this is because it was new. It had never been done. It was rushed through the FDA. And at the end of the day, everybody who was in that original group who received it were basically being studied. At the end of the day, no one could conclusively say how this was going to impact large groups of people. What if we are seeing that these excess deaths are somehow connected to that? Now, the sad thing is, when you start speaking on this, you got to speak in code like I am now. But y'all are smart enough to understand the elephant in the room. Now, let me tell you my position of why I'm telling you this. My position of why I'm sharing this with you is not to tell you what to do. Is not to tell you and your family what you should do and what you should not do. But what I'm trying to encourage all of you to do and all of us to do is we have to live today not waiting for people to tell us information. We have to be individuals who are always seeking information. We have to be individuals who can think for ourselves. We have to be individuals who don't allow the news to tell us what truth is, but to allow the eyes that the Most High has given us to look, to see what the truth is. Now, let me say this and I'm done. One of the problems in these days and times is this. We have access to endless amounts of information. You can go on your phone. You can go on your tablet. You can go on your computer. You can pick whatever search engine you want. You can type anything in. We got chat GBT now, our artificial intelligence, to where you can call out something. You can call Siri. You can ask Siri a question. You can do whatever it is that you want to get endless information. But the problem is we think information is truth, but it's not. Let me explain. Right now, you can go to Google and you can type in cancer treatment or something like that. If you type in cancer treatment, when you look on the first page, you're going to see that the first 4 things that come up or 5 things that come up are all sponsored, which means that whoever is on the top of that page paid for that website or that article to be at the top of the list in order that when people search these words, all right, that they're able to see that information. And then when you start looking under those sponsors, then you'll start seeing government sites, pharmaceutical sites, educational sites, which means what? Here we are thinking we're doing objective research when we're Googling, and it's not objective. It's information that is biased by people who've paid to put it before your eyes, which means here we are thinking that we are astute and researchers and pursuers of knowledge and up on everything because you done put something in a Google tab or a search engine and you look at the first page and you read 2 or 3 articles or you watch 1 or 2 videos and you think you're just, you know everything about everything, and that's not the case. The true knowledge is not on the first pages of the internet. The true knowledge has to be searched for. The true knowledge is in the minds and the hearts of people who have the knowledge. The true knowledge is in libraries, is in books, it's in people who you're not going to see on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. The people that are really healing and curing folk aren't household names. So what I'm trying to get you all to understand is we can no longer be people who are naive to sit up and watch the news, watch CNN, and let whatever they tell us to be our truth. There's no such thing as your truth and my truth and her truth. I hate when people say that. Speak your truth. No, the truth is that truth. It is that. Okay? It's not my interpretation of it. Truth is truth. Because when you start saying my truth and your truth, it means that everybody got a truth. And that confuses folks. But you can have that type of language in a society that's confused by these spiritual demonic forces that causes us to live constantly and perpetually in a state of delusion. And the word of the Lord tells us about this. So I want to implore to you all, we have to open our eyes. We can no longer be drinking the proverbial blue Kool-Aid. We have to read more. And the best thing that prevents us, all right, ladies and gentlemen, from ultimate health is when we're putting chemicals in our body. Now think about it for a couple of seconds. Now, before you get mad because you got your own belief system, just think objectively what I'm saying. What sense does it make to put chemicals and man-made items in our body all the time? What sense does it make? What sense does it make to do that? It doesn't make sense. So when we sit back and you see these little cute commercials and you see your doctor that comes in the room and tells you and looks to see all the vaccines that you're behind on. Oh, we got to give you the flu shot. Oh, we got to give you the COVID shot. Oh, we got to give you the pneumonia shot. Oh, you need the HPV shot. Oh, you need the shingles shot. Okay, if you decide to get the shots, this is what I'm saying. Let it be because you have done your own research, that you've searched the truth out, not because a man or a woman, and who may be a brilliant physician, a brilliant doctor, has told you. Yes, maybe they tell you, but you need to learn. What is this? What are the potential repercussions of what I put in me? What are some alternative things that potentially I could do? It's your body. It's your life. God didn't give it to anybody else but you. You got to be a steward over your body. I got to be a steward over my body. And that's why I thank God for this village and I thank God for this platform. Yeah, we may not have 1 million people, but the thousands we have, we're independent. I don't answer to any company. I don't answer to any organization. I answer to 3 people. I answer to God. I answer to my wife and family, and I answer to myself and you who I represent. And it may have taken longer to get to this point, but we aren't controlled by anybody, because a lot of people can't say what I'm sitting up here saying and telling you now. And it's the truth. The internet is not a place of truth. It's a place of information that people think is true. You can come up and come up with any type of information that you want and create a website and pay for your website to be placed there. And then when people are searching, they reading what you've said, and maybe you don't even know what you're talking about. So we cannot be ignorant, ladies and gentlemen, and we got to be smarter than what we give ourselves credit for. When we hear about excess deaths, when we hear about people who are dying randomly, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. And I already know what it is. But I'll tell you this statistically. The people who've been able to combat the manifestations of COVID-19 are individuals who had lower and lesser amounts of comorbidities. That means what? Less obesity, less cardiovascular risk, less diabetes, less hypertension, less metabolic syndrome. People who moved more, people who exercised, people who were focused on their health. These are the individuals that when they were exposed to it were able to come through it. It was more resilient to the virus than anything else. That's a fact. And let me tell you something, that fact that I just told you is not going to be seen when you type it in on Google on the first couple of pages, because the first couple of pages of Google, as it relates to this subject matter, are institutions who are all in the bed with each other, who are in alignment with a certain philosophy in order to control massive amounts of people. And that's a fact. So I'm not sitting up here telling you to do anything. If you listen to what I've said, I haven't said do this or not do it. All I'm saying is you need to be informed, and you need to stop walking around with the wool over your eyes. Let the news media, TikTok, and social media give you your information. The first way you see truth is by opening up your eyes. Look at it. And when you see something ain't going, when something isn't right, you investigate it until it starts to make sense. And then with what you see that doesn't look right, and your investigation, you find the gap and it makes sense, bam, that's your truth. So let's be more responsible as we move forward, because that's not going to be the first pandemic that we have to experience. The best thing any and all of us can do who are watching this is to take this vessel seriously, gang. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Big shout out to the Mustafas for being my amazing guests. They were a great duo, a great couple in this edition of Village Chat. You guys have an amazing evening. I'll be live with you sometime in the morning to review our statistical analysis and performance review. As always, gang, I'm not certain on the time, but when I know the time, I'll be certain to let you guys know in our closed Facebook group. To those of you who want more information about the world's greatest transformational process, you can follow us on Instagram at Journey Life TV. There are tons of testimonials, before and after, helpful videos. You can follow us on Facebook, Journey Life TV. You can follow us right here and subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, Journey Life TV. The last thing I want to say, and I promise I'm going to let you guys know, I'm going to let y'all know in the morning. I'll have the flyer. I don't have it now. But what I'll do is on this upcoming Thursday, if you're in the greater Atlanta area, you have someone who's in need of a job, at my church that I pastor, Salem Bible Church, Stonecrest location, we are having a career fair. It's going to start at 9 a.m. on Thursday at 5460 Hillendale Drive. That's Stonecrest, Georgia. You can get all the information of my church at salembiblechurch.org. Now, in that part of town, it is a kind of a secondary market of Atlanta. It's probably about 18 miles east of the city of Atlanta, maybe about 15 miles. All right. They're doing a lot of work to where they're going to be making road improvements and bridges, almost like a spaghetti junction. There are a litany of jobs. They're about to be hiring people on the spot. We're talking about human resources jobs. We're talking about administrative jobs. We're talking about secretarial jobs. We're talking about jobs that are out in the field that are paying people good money. And not only is it something that's a great informative career fair, but they're going to be hiring people on the spot. It's no charge. It's nothing like that. Now, we are great landholders in that community. Our church owns the largest piece of undeveloped commercial land in South DeKalb County. So we've been there since the mid-90s, and a lot of people like to come in that area, and they want to put strip malls in Black communities, dollar stores. They want to put liquor stores. They want to put things that they think Black people like. But we as Black people like things like everybody else. We like Gucci. We like Louis. We like Houston's. We like Whole Foods. We like premium restaurants. All right. That's one of the highest and most successful African-American neighborhoods in the country behind Prince George County, Maryland. So the folks there got money, but it's a high amount of leakage in the area. Leakage meaning what? People have money who live in the area, but they're going to Phipps to spend it. They're going to Lenox to spend it. They're going to other places to spend it. So what we've done is we haven't sold that land until we have developers who are willing to come into South DeKalb, which is primarily African American, and who are going to put a development that's going to improve the quality of life of our own community. We need premium grocery stores. We want white cloth restaurants. We want nice shopping centers. I don't want to see no Family Dollar. I don't want to see no liquor store. I don't want to see no hood stuff like that. Like it's a running stereotype that the only thing Black people want is a Wingstop. No. But see, what happens is when you own stuff, you have a foot at the table. So the people who are doing this particular fair on Thursday are individuals that we are in partnership with. All right. I know the CEO. I know all the people who are doing that. So if you need a job, if you got somebody who needs a job, you have them there at my church on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. And they're going to be hiring people on the spot. It's a litany of different things. Now, let me tell you something, and I'm done. Don't have your cousin show up and he has been smoking weed the last 3 days. Y'all know we Negroes will mess it up. We ain't got a job and we smoking that good gas each and every day. You need to come in there clean and alert. Come on, somebody. Sober. All right. Now, in the morning, I'm going to have that flyer for you guys. I'm going to put it in the groups. I'm going to share it on social media platforms because I want to be certain, being in a position to be able to help our people. And that's why people put people like myself as pastors in position. When you get a platform, you shouldn't be promenading on your platform talking about, look at me. You're supposed to use that platform so it can lift your people, so it can lift your community. And that's exactly what we're going to do each and every day. 40 Turn Up Super Sundays coming soon, guys. I mean, we action packed up in here, gang. Thank y'all for joining me. Have an amazing day. Love you guys. Until next time, be well and be blessed. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace and blessings. We out.